At this time, I'd like for our department chaplain, Father Cooley, to give our invocation.
Let us pray. Mighty God, as we dedicate this building, it's important to realize that a building at times symbolizes things, concepts, and ideas. This building symbolizes to the public a trust that they have, a trust and a hope for a better life through the efforts of law enforcement. To the law enforcement family, this building symbolizes their life, their goals, their entire dedication, in order that they might contribute to their efforts to a better life for the citizens of our state and our nation. We ask you to never let this symbol to be tarnished, or what it stands for to be diminished, but rather give the public an awareness of what law enforcement means in their lives. Give to all law enforcement officers, state as well as other agencies, an awareness that their building, their uniform, their conduct, their efforts, all are observed by the citizens who look to them for guidance, for help. We ask your grace that we all might contribute to a better life, and that we never in any way tarnish the symbol that stands out in the view of all. And we ask this in your name.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Claude, commander of the post. I welcome all of you to today's dedication ceremonies. Thank you very much for coming. It means a lot to all of us here at the district. I would be remiss if I did not recognize some of those individuals who have put forth their efforts to make this beautiful facility possible. I would like to recognize and thank Irvin Perrucker of Matthews, Perrucker, and Anella architectural firm, and also Ron Mays of Overley Construction for their very fine efforts and outstanding job they did on this facility. The superintendent of the Indiana Reformatory, Ed Cohen, who has been very gracious in assisting us with our new gun range, which is under construction, as well as the transition from the old post to the new post. Also, he helped on the dedication ceremony today. I'd like to thank Mr. Henry Moore and his staff in engineering, Mr. Jack Burleson and his people in communications, Pendleton Lumber Company, especially Kurt Call, who has helped display a lot of the plaques that you see around the post. Also to Ed Pritchard, a local Pendleton resident, who has helped us hang the many pictures that we have in the hallways, and which you will see as we go about the post. Also, especially to the Pendleton personnel, who have spent many hours in preparing and getting ready in such a short time for this dedication. Finally, I can't leave out Janice and Carl Kleinbub. Janice made the state police quilt you can see behind me here. Their daughter is a Indiana State Trooper. And probably what will be the biggest hit of the open house will be Trooper Bear. He is fully outfitted and ready for patrol duties. They also made this for us. I would now like to recognize some special guests that we have in our company today. Charlie Epperson and his wife. Charlie was a post commander in the early 1960s. He's the oldest surviving district commander. He was the first Pendleton trooper to have a two-way radio in his patrol car. Also, I believe we have Leon Davis with us today. He is the son of the first Pendleton District Commander, Bert Davis. Special welcome to all state senators and representatives and all other public officials that we have with us. Finally, I've seen a lot of retired state troopers, former district commanders here, and fellow workers who undoubtedly today have a lot of memories of the old post. And it is not without some sadness that we have left that post. But the memories of the 50 years at the facility will always be with us as we start a new era at this post. Some 2 years ago, we started working on the final plans of this post, and at that time, we had another gentleman. He was a colonel in our department who was responsible for the Deputy Superintendent of Support Services, that attended a lot of meetings and was responsible for getting the monies together and the people together to start this post, was here for the dedication ceremonies. He is with us today. It is with great pleasure that I introduce our new Present Superintendent, Lloyd Jennings.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the public opening of District 51 on New State Police Post of Pendleton. This is our 9th post in a series of construction that we have undertaken for some years to replace the WPA buildings that were built back in the 1930s. The funding for this building, which is about $1.5 million, comes not directly from taxes, but from a license plate fee of 50 cents per license plate that is collected by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles for our building fund. Also, on this particular building, we were able to reduce costs because the Department of Corrections gave us the land to be able to build this particular post on. And we were very thankful that they had the land so we could cut costs. Again, this is another example of state agencies working together to reduce costs to the taxpayers. In a few minutes, you will be invited to go on a tour of this building with us, this new facility. And a little bit later, we asked you to join us in a reception back in this room that will be prepared in a few minutes. In this tour, you will find a 15,000 square feet building that includes classrooms, media area, a polygraph room, a holding cell, interview rooms, a modern crime laboratory with dark room, and a near state-of-the-art radio room. When I say state-of-the-art, we're going into 800 megahertz, and we don't particularly have it at this district right now, but we're working on that in the near future. This building is also equipped with a computerized heating and cooling system for effectiveness and for efficiency in the heating and cooling area. Those retirees here will find that this building is a far cry from what they had to work with when the Indiana State Police troopers rode motorcycles and wore riding boots and breeches on their daily tours of duty. There are some former superintendents here that I would like to take a second to introduce. First of all, Frank Jessup's here. Frank. John Shuttle, Larry Furnace, and I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce some of my staff that I brought with me today. Lieutenant Colonel Hollingsworth, Lieutenant Colonel Delaney, Lieutenant Colonel Johnson, and Jack Martin. The governor can't be here today because, if you're aware, he's got some problems with the budget and he's pretty busy right now. So representing Governor Bai is Jeffrey Modisett, the governor's executive assistant for public safety and drug abuse prevention. Among his many responsibilities, Mr. Modisett is the liaison between the Indiana State Police and the governor. Would you please welcome Mr. Jeffrey Modisett?
Thank you very much, and it's a real pleasure to be here, trying to, however humbly, fill in for the role of the governor. You know, when I first came in the building here and I asked around, I asked if Lloyd Jennings was here yet. Someone pointed into this room, and I looked in, and all that I saw was this figure over here on the right. And I immediately started to think that we should reconsider that the wellness program here. But no, thank you. It's really an honor to be here because the state police is very, very important to Governor Bai, and he wanted to be able to make it here today. But as Lloyd said, he's up to his neck in alligators in the budget right now, and I'm sure that you can all appreciate that. And that's why I was especially happy to hear that this post had been built without the use of tax money. It's amazing that you were able to implement Governor Bai's philosophy before he even took office. But I think it also shows what you can do when you have the Department of Corrections and other state agencies working closely with the state police. And I think that's wonderful, and hopefully I'm sure that Lloyd Jennings will continue that cooperative relationship with other state agencies. I was happy to hear also about Charlie Epperson. Who's Charlie? Are you Charlie? It's nice to see you. When I read about the two-way radios and you being the first one to have them, I thought that was quite interesting. There's many times when I wish that I were 20 miles away from a 2-mile radio so no one could find me. But here we are today, and I think all of us have our little beepers on, and it's a far cry, but it shows how far we've come in such a short time. And now the headquarters here has the state-of-the-art communications network, and as Lloyd said, we are seriously working on trying to implement some form of an 800 megahertz program here in the state of Indiana. We're going to continue to do that despite some of the budgetary problems that might entail. Being able to talk here today is very special for me. My background is in law enforcement. I was a federal prosecutor, and I have a special place in my heart for all law enforcement people, and I know that the special work that you do, and it's something that I think some of us may not realize as much, but it was brought home to me recently when how much prestige and honor among the people, the citizens of Indiana, that you have and that you maintain. My little nephew, I shouldn't say little, he's 13, but he weighs more than I do, and he's about 5'10". But he came to the State House the other day to be a legislative page, and about halfway through the day, I could tell that he wasn't all that thrilled, and I tried to think of something else that he could do, and I knew that he really enjoyed police. He was the kind of kid who, if in our local town of Windfall, Indiana, if the sheriff car stops too long at a stoplight, he just hops right in and rides around with them. He just loves it. And so I took him over and gave Colonel Hollingsworth a call and said, "Colonel, would you mind if I just show my nephew the state police central headquarters?" Well, of course, Colonel Hollingsworth, not to be outdone, made sure that when my nephew showed up that he actually got a tour of, where did you take him? Post 52? Well, obviously the governor doesn't want any special favors, but here's my nephew here, and here's Colonel Hollingsworth saying that we're going to take you to Post 52, and I had no choice but to say, well, okay, have a good time, but mind yourself. And I don't know if I told you, Colonel, but after that tour, the next day my little nephew gave me a call, and here's a kid who, he's only 13 years old, but he's been pretty lucky. He's had a chance to visit the nation's capital, and he's been out to Colorado, and he's been able to do a lot of things that a lot of 13-year-olds don't get a chance to do. And he came back and he told me that, "Uncle, yesterday when I got to tour that police headquarters, that was the happiest day of my life." And I think it shows you that the prestige and honor that the state police have and that all law enforcement has. And so in dedicating this building, and it's kind of funny to I feel like the father should do the dedication, but in dedicating this building, I think it should be not just to the structure here and to the ability to have new facilities and new communications, but the dedication should be for every trooper that's out there, the people that are doing the hard work and the people that relate to the community and keep that special relationship among all the citizens. So again, it's with pride that I'm here today and able to speak, and I want to thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This concludes our dedication ceremony. I'm going to escort the superintendent and Jeff and the rest of the party through. What we would ask is, when we go through, you follow us, talk to the people at the displays, talk to each other, leave the room here. We are going to set up some refreshments. Come back in here and there will be refreshments that are provided by the Department of Corrections. Thank you very much for coming. Stay as long as you want to. Enjoy yourself. We appreciate all of you being here.